All right, now we're going to go over the answers to test B, but really quick. Each question on these tests is worth 3 points. Can you put it in the correct form? Can you identify the correct slope? Can you identify the correct y-intercept? If it's in standard form, did you get A, B, and C correct? If it's in point slope form, did you put in the point properly? Do you know the right slope? If it's a horizontal or vertical line, did you get it that it's an x equals or a y equals equation? All those things add up to 3. If you lost half a point, typically 1/2 a point was taken away if you had a negative sign error. All right, number 1, write the equation of the line through the point 1, -8 with a slope of -5 in slope-intercept form. So I've got a slope of -5. I plug in my point, x minus x, so it's minus 1. Y minus -8 becomes plus 8. Distribute my -5 to both terms. And then subtract 8 from both sides, and I'm left with y equals -5x minus 3. For number 2, write the equation of a line through the point -4, -1 with a 0 slope. 0 slope means I have a horizontal line, means that it is just a y equals because it crosses the y-axis only. The y I'm given in this coordinate point is -1. Write the equation of the line between these two given points in point slope form. Well, first I have to find my slope. I will take -2 minus a -3, so that's -2 plus 3. And then 6 minus 8, I simplify to get -1/2. Plug that in for my slope. I can plug either one of these points into point slope form. Both would be acceptable. Write the equation of a line through these 2 points in standard form. Well, I go ahead and I find my slope. I end up with 2 divided by 0. Well, 0 in the denominator means that I have an undefined slope, meaning it is a vertical line. This line only crosses the x-axis, so I have an x equals equation. The x's match, so my x must equal 2. Rewrite the following equation in slope-intercept form. I need to get y all by itself. I subtract 3x from both sides, and then I divide everything by 2. Y equals -3/2 x plus 1/2 is what I am left with then. Rewrite the following equation in standard form. I need to have the x and the y both on the same side of the equal sign. I need to not have a negative for a, and I need to not have fractions. So I'm going to subtract 1/5 x from both sides. I'm left with -1/5 x plus y equals 2. I have a negative fraction. I can't have negatives and I can't have fraction. So I'm going to multiply everything by -5, which leaves me with x minus 5y equals -10. Write the equation of the line parallel to x equals 5. Well, x equals 5 is a a vertical line. So in order to be parallel to a vertical line, I need another vertical line. And it needs to go through the point 8, -3. Vertical lines are x equals. The x value that it has to touch is 8. So my equation is just x equals 8. Write the equation of the line parallel to this equation in standard form that goes through the point 1, -3. Well, if I simplify this equation, I would find that my slope is 3. Parallel, I want to use the same slope, and then I plug in the point that I'm given. I need it to be x minus 1, and then y plus 3, because it's y minus a -3. If I simplify by distributing the 3 to everything inside the parentheses, then I can go ahead and subtract 3x from both sides, subtract 3 from both sides, leaving me with -3x plus y equals -6. I cannot have a negative a, so I multiply everything by -1, which changes the sign on everything, and I'm left with 3x minus y equals 6. That is the answer in standard form. Write the equation of the line perpendicular to this equation and goes through the point 3, 5. Well, the slope in this top equation is -1. Perpendicular requires us to use the opposite reciprocal. If I take -1 over 1 and I flip it, I'm left with 1 over 1. Opposite meaning it was negative, now it's going to be positive. My slope is 1. I plug in 1 for the slope, I plug a 3 in for the x, a 5 in for the y, and I simplify by distributing my 1, adding 5 to both sides, and I am left with y equals x plus 2. Finally, number 10, we want our line to be perpendicular to this one and going through the point -9, -7. Again, if I were to simplify this, I would find that my slope is -3, or I recognize this is point slope form already. My slope is -3. Perpendicular, the opposite reciprocal, leaves me with a slope of 1/3. I plug in 1/3 for my slope. I'm going to plug in a -9 and a -7, making them both plus the value. Distribute this 1/3. 1/3 times x is 1/3 x. 1/3 times 9 is 3. Subtract 7 from both sides, and I am left with y equals 1/3 x minus 4. Slope-intercept form is what was required. This is the only acceptable answer form. Okay, any questions you have, please go ahead and post them here on the Google Classroom post, and I'll see you guys Friday.